This is lesson 9, using the identity and inverse to write equivalent expressions. Write the sum and then write an equivalent expression by collecting like terms and removing the parentheses. So 2x plus negative 2x plus 3. Well, because there's nothing in front of here, we're going to remove the parentheses. So 2x plus negative 2x plus 3. So removing the parentheses, we have 2x plus negative 2x plus 3. These two can be combined, so 2x plus a negative 2x is 0. So our answer here is 3. Next, we have 2x minus 7 plus the opposite of 2x, which is negative 2x. So we have 2x minus 7 plus negative 2x. We're going to bring our like terms next to one another. Plus negative 2x minus 7. Again, these two go to 0, so our answer is negative 7. And we have the opposite of 5x minus 1 and 5x. So here we have negative 1 times 5x, negative 1 times negative 1, and then plus 5x. Excuse me. We have negative 5x plus 1 plus 5x. So we're going to put our 5x's together. So these putting together would be 0. We have a positive 1. Okay, so next. Just write the sum and then an equivalent expression by collecting the like terms and removing the parentheses whenever possible. So we have negative 4 plus 4b plus 4. So removing the parentheses, we have negative 4 plus 4b plus 4. So I'm going to put my 4's next to one another. So negative 4 plus 4 plus 4b. These go to 0, so my answer is 4b. Next, I have 3x plus 1 minus 3x. So 3x plus 1 minus 3x. So if I put my x's next to one another, I have 3x minus 3x plus 1. So these two will cancel out. They go to 0, so I am left with 1. Next, I have the opposite of 4x, which is negative 4x, and negative 5 plus 4x. Dropping the parentheses, I have negative 4x plus negative 5 plus 4x next to one another. Again, my 4x's cancel out, so I'm left with negative 5. Here I have the opposite of negative 10t, which is 10t, plus t minus 10t. Well, here, if I have t and I subtract 10t, then I am left with negative t, so plus negative t, which will give me 9t. My next problem, I have the opposite of negative 7 minus 4v and negative 4. What are 1 here? We have negative 1 times negative 7, negative 1 times negative 4v. Again, because we are multiplying these. Remember, our sign goes with our number. And then plus negative 4v. So I have a positive 7 plus 4v plus a negative 4v. Again, these two are going to cancel. I'm left with 7. Okay. Next, we have 1/8 So here we are going to use our distributive property. So 1/8 times 2x and 1/8 times a positive 4. So we have 2/8 x and plus, and they simplify. If we put them in our calculator, they would already be simplified. So it would be simplified to 1/4 x plus 1/2. So the rest we're going to automatically simplify because our calculator would do that for us. Okay. So now I have 3/4 times 5x and 3/4 times negative 1. So here I would have 3 and 3/4 x minus 3/4. Here I would have 1/5 times 10x and 1/5 times negative 5. Again, multiply this. I'm going to move this up just a little bit here. And then multiply. Remember, sign goes with your number. So 1/5 times 10x is 2x. And 1/5 times negative 5 is negative 1. Now, our multiplicative inverse, okay, our multiplicative inverse, okay, is what makes our answer 1. Okay, what makes our answer 1? Which would be, okay, which would be 4 each of the next problems. Okay, so it says write the product and then write the expression in standard form by removing the parentheses and combining like terms. Justify each step. So here we go. The multiplicative inverse of 1/5. Well, the multiplicative inverse of 1/5 would be 5/1. In other words, it's reciprocal. So the multiplicative inverse of 1/5, which would be 5/1, and 2x minus 1. Okay. So next we have, I don't know if we're going to do this in 2 days. Hang on. Less than 9. Oh, 1 day. Okay. Okay. So 5 times 2x and 5 times, so 5 times 2x is 10x. 5 times negative 1/5 is negative 1. Okay. Oops, sorry. Next. There we go. So now the multiplicative inverse of 2, which is 1/2, and 2x plus 4. So here we have 1/2 times 2x, and 1/2 times a positive 4. Okay. So we have 1/2 times 2, which is 1x, and 1/2 times a positive 4, which is a positive 2. Now we have multiplicative inverse of 3x plus 5, 1 over the 3x plus 5, which in this case would be 3x plus 5 and 1/3. Don't let that scare you. It's just the reciprocal. We're just going to flip it over. That's all we're going to do. Okay? That's all we're going to do. All right, so please don't be afraid of that. So now we're just going to multiply it. It doesn't matter that it's on the other side. So here and here. So 3x times 1/3 and positive 5 times 1/3. So we have 1x plus 5/3. And we can leave it as 5/3. That's perfectly okay. All right. The product, and then write the expression in standard form by removing the parentheses and combining like terms. Okay. The reciprocal of 3, we've talked about reciprocals before, and negative 6y minus 3x. So 1/3 times negative 6y. One-third times negative 3x. So 1/3 times negative 6 is negative 2y. And again, guys, I can't state enough, use your calculators. Make sure you use your calculators. And then 1/3 times negative 3 is negative 1x or negative x. Next, the multiplicative inverse of 4, which is 1/4, and 4h minus 20. So 1/4 times 4h times, remember, negative 20. So 1/4 times 4 is 1h or h, and 1/4 times negative 20 is negative 5. Sorry, guys, I need to move that up. I apologize. Our last problem is the multiplicative inverse of negative 1/6, which is negative 6 times, and 2 minus 1/6. Okay, so we have negative 6 times 2 and negative 6 times negative 1/6. Negative 6 times 2 is negative 12 minus negative 6 times negative 1/6 is positive 1, which equals, because we got to put our terms together, negative 11. And that ends our lesson.